things most of you probably don't know about me is I'm a librarian. I work for the USDA, and I get a lot of questions from people who want to fund farming projects. And so I'm going to run through like some of the typical type people that contact me and ask questions, kind of pretend I'm one of them, and ask each of these people just, you know, they can talk a little bit about how their program would, what that person, how they would interact with that program, and how that program can help them. If it doesn't really fit that type of person, then you can pass or just say, we're not really set up to do that. So that's okay, because we know each of these programs are designed kind of differently. So the first person I'm going to be is going to be a beginning farmer. And I have no land, and I finished my undergraduate degree a couple years ago. I majored in English. I worked on a few farms. I really like the experience. I'm passionate about, you know, the food I eat, and I really want to start a farm. But, you know, I have no land, no real equity. I don't own a home or anything like that. And so I'm going to come to you and say, you know, tell me about your program and can it help me, or what can I do to bring my dream of starting a farm, make it happen? How can your program help me do that? So
are you renting land, or do you have control of any land?
Well, since I'm beginning and I don't have a farm background, I don't have any family members who are farming or anything. I don't. So no.
I know. That's our program. You're going to have control of the land for us to be able to do things on the land.
So if I somehow was able to get some land,
then come back.
Okay. Would I be able to apply to almost any program as a new farmer, or would I have to have some things already kind of up and going?
I think you probably qualify from, yeah.
The only thing under financial assistance programs, to be eligible for Equine, you have to sell at least $1,000 a year of products. Okay, so, and that's usually not too tough for most people to get. But if you're starting brand new, you're going to have to go sell $1,000 worth of stuff before we're willing to work with you.
What if you are transitioning to another farm and you've sold, you know, $1,000 worth or more?
Yeah, you've already mentioned.
Yeah. Okay. Laura, what would you do for me at Sarah?
We can pay for, or they can pay for leasing land that would be unique to that project that you'd be applying for. But being that you don't have any experience, I don't know how easily you'd be funded. If you went for a partnership grant in which you had somebody who was in charge, who was then conducting research on your farm with you, that, depending on how innovative the project was, that could possibly be funded.
Okay, thank you.
And you could be paid for that, for your time.
I'm going to be very focused on the management capability and business plan of that individual. And because they, you know, don't have assets, and it sounds like they don't have much experience, I'm going to be a little concerned. But the first place I'm going to send them is to Ginger Meyer's website at the Maryland Rural Enterprise Development Center, where they have a whole system set out where, you know, from the sophisticated to the not sophisticated dreamer, where they can work through and think about business planning aspect of their enterprise. And I would probably have them do that first, and then say, you know, go try it out with a farmer. You know, get your hands dirty. See if you really like your.
Well, let's say I've worked on a couple farms, so I know I like farming. I've done an internship. I've worked on a farm. Yeah. You know, a kind of diversified thing. We did vegetables. We had some poultry and sold eggs and. I'm just making something up here.
Well, you know, if they really had experience and, you know, maybe they had a chance to lease some land, a little bit of land and have a small operation. If the business...
I could approach you and say, this farmer that I worked with offered to lease me 3 acres because I did a good job on their farm last year. They want to help me out. So I could approach you and say, I looked at Ginger's website and I kind of know what I want to do.
And I'm going to make the assumption they need a small amount of money to start. A small amount of money might be doable with a business plan where I could understand how the revenues were going to flow in from the operation. Because then we'd get ready to give them over to Dean after that. Because Dean, go ahead.
Yeah, Dean, what would you
I
say
send
to
you to
me?
Leslie Henderson Harton. He's going to put a business plan, help you put a business plan together. It's, do you have someone that can guarantee the loan? If you don't have any money to put in. Number two, in this economy, always the down payment's a moving target depending on what the economy's doing. But you probably need a minimum 30% down on whatever loan you wanted to get, to be realistic. Now, if you were established and you had a good solid net worth and low debt to asset ratio, you might work.
We'll go there next. I'll be someone
FSA
else.
guarantee, Farm Service Agency guarantee, can strengthen the loan package.
I'll be someone else again in another 5 minutes.
I'm wondering when someone like me who's on the ground in the community, maybe in the school system, trying to change mindsets and get the younger generation into farming. From this exercise we just went through, it seems virtually impossible for someone fresh out of high school or even fresh out of college to maybe, walk down that path of that dream. So how does someone like me who's, trying to change the mindset of a younger generation get them excited about it when I'm sitting here right now finding out that it could be somewhat challenging for the young person?
I'll tell you that. Basically, here's the scenario. A gentleman came in to me a month ago, and his future son-in-law wants to start dairying, right? So he comes in, I said, well, show me what you have, what does he own? So we did a balance sheet real quick and dirty, right? And I said, well, he's going to need a guarantor. The future father-in-law guaranteed the loan. The future father-in-law put up a piece of ground as security for the loan. So we made the loan to the young man. Now, the young man is being mentored by future father-in-law who is experienced in farming, and his uncle who is also equally experienced in farming. So he has two strong mentors. He has, there is real estate securing the loan, and the loan is a 5-year loan. So if they're willing to put that in, we're willing to make that loan.
We would do that too.
All right. I think that's interesting for people to know. So I think from that we need to take away that you need to have a very strong business plan with some idea of how you're going to pay back the people who have, guaranteed your loan. And you also, it doesn't hurt to have friendly people out there in the world who are going to help you out of it, whether it's through luck or through your own hard work or something.
Are these loans mostly payable monthly or annually, depending if you have like an annual crop?
With Marbitco, it's however you want it. It could be annual, could be quarterly, could be monthly. We've done them all.
Same here. Farm Credit Center. We'll tailor repayment based on the business. If it's a dairy, they're getting a monthly milk check. We want monthly payments. If it's a cash grain operation, we'll go semi-annual or even annual payments. So we tailor it to the income stream of the borrower.
From a farmer's perspective, but I don't like getting loans. I don't like paying other people for the money that I need to use. Go the CSA route. Get the money in the spring from the people who are going to be buying from you, and ask them to buy into your farm so that you can have the finances you need without having to pay back interest to somebody else for the loans that you get started.
So yeah, I think there are a lot of other creative finance ways. I mean, we've only kind of tapped the top of what is available out there, and we could probably spend another 2 hours in here talking about other ways to finance too. So,
There are, not to step on Laura's toes, but there are the new educator grants. They're little $2,000 grants that educators can apply for, and those can really get kids motivated into doing agricultural projects.
all right. Well, for another couple minutes, I'm going to do something because we did title this one Farm and Food Project. So for a couple minutes, I'm going to be someone who works with a nonprofit organization, and we really want to start a farm-to-school program in our school district. But our school district isn't going to give us any money. We all know our state budget situations right now, but I'm passionate about this. Other people in my organization are passionate about this, so we want to see if we can find some funding out there to do this project that we think is going to help our community and our youth and our future. So we went to NRCS and told you about this project. What would your response be?
So we have another part of our organization called RCD, Research Conservation and Development, and they are, we have coordinators who work specifically with things like farmers markets, school programs, those kinds of things. So we would probably hook you up with our RC&D coordinator. And she's, they're integrated in the school system. That'd be a good fit for you.
Okay. And so there would be some conservation programs maybe, or some other type of...
They can at least help you with networking.
Okay. Okay, Laura?
With SARE, I would say the Sustainable Community Grant would be the way to go, and I think that would be a very popular type of project for that, especially if you have done enough research so you've seen how these can be successful in other regions. Describe your current situation as to why your school and region is unique, and maybe how you would tweak an existing program to make it applicable or unique for your situation.
Last year, and maybe again next year, but not this year, under our county cost share program, it sounds like there might be some county government interest in helping to support that, maybe not with the school system, but as part of the ag economic development effort in the county. So we might be able to cost share part of something related to that.
Okay.
Is your nonprofit producing food for fiber or fun?
No, well, maybe fun, but... Okay. That's good to know. And I guess for the last 5 minutes, I'm going to be someone who's been farming, we'll say more than 10 years, so I don't qualify for any beginning farmer type money. And I have about, say, 50 acres, and I'm doing, I don't know, a dairy operation, and I'm thinking about trying to diversify my operation so that I'm making a little bit more money than I am just from selling milk. So I might be looking at doing cheeses or doing value added, or just look at how I can improve my dairying operation to make it more profitable. So, and I have, let's say I have some acreage that runs along a stream. I'm doing grazing on my dairy, so I do have cattle in pastures. Okay.
You need to help with fencing for grain, grazing plan.
Is that?
Yeah, anything that in that big suite of practices we have that could help you transition, we can certainly help you with there. One of the things that people are coming in now saying, well, I want to go to organic, can you help me with that? And one thing is we are paying for somebody to come in and write you a plan to be organic. And then if you've got a regular dairy, now you're going to go organic, well, you've got to get those cows out on pasture, at least part of the time. We can help with water development, building fence, as Pam said, grazing plans, walkways, those types of things.
Great.
There's a lot of opportunities for diversifying your farming operation. If you wanted to do a farmer grant to do yogurt, cheese, or some different type of bottling of your milk or something, that's one option. You could do the partnership grant if there was an educator or somebody that was going to be taking the lead, and you'd sort of just obviously be a partner in that. On a larger scale, if there was a researcher on a campus that was looking to include maybe 3 or 4 farms in a larger study of diversifying a dairy operation, an education grant would then be a possibility with that. But I think that if you want the most control over your own project, I would go with the farmer grant.
Okay.
Other than young and beginning farmers, value-added processing is our top priority. Third of the grants and loans we've made have been for value-added projects. We have, of course, the USDA overlay program, which I mentioned, we hope to continue to be offering next year, and we certainly can make loans for value-added processing and make it, they're our top priority for us.
Okay.
Yeah, since you're a producer, yes, we would be happy to help you with vertically integrating your business to make more money, and we'd be happy to work with Steve to give you the lowest rate you possibly can.
Okay, great. So I don't know, any other questions? We're kind of pushing on our time. But.
I have a question, and I think a lot of the other farmers in this room might be where I'm at. I'll give you my current scenario. I'm in West Virginia, sole proprietor on a farm enterprise that also has a residence. and I'm profitable. Now, things that are to my disadvantage when I go to expand and look to get more financing are, I'm in West Virginia, I'm a male Caucasian, I'm a farm enterprise with my living residence on the same property with only one deed. And then I also have one lien holder and a second lien holder. I have not declared bankruptcy. I have ongoing business, ongoing accounts receivable, ongoing demand. I'm finally in the right business of growing food. I need more money. I can't get it. Where can I get it?
Farm credit question. The house on the property, on the work farm is not an issue at all with us.
The farm credit, in most banks it is because they can't sell it to the
You're absolutely right. Yes, that's correct. And with us, it's not an issue with what we do. It's our niche market.
Right.
That's where we get it. As far as other lien holders on the farm, it all depends on what you're asking for. If you're asking for a long-term loan, 20, 25 years, whatever.
Okay, I already have one of those,
right.
And the others are 7 and 10 years.
Right. We will not take a second lien position to anybody.
So I already have a second lien position. So.
Right. Yeah, we will not be in second lien position on a long-term loan. Okay. We might do it on a shorter-term loan, but as far as long-term loan, we'd have to take out the other lenders.
And that won't
happen. Or they would have to subordinate to us.
They won't.
That's not going to happen.
No.
No.
If you were in Maryland, we'd look at your equity position and we'd look at your business plan, and we might take a subordinate position on the loan on our own. Farm Credit would probably say, okay, go ahead and do that if they were the senior lien holder. But you have to be in Maryland for us.
Right. See, what is sort of irritating me is I'm a sole proprietor, family farm. I have no aspirations to take on partners, to go public, to take on venture capitalists. I want to be a family farm, okay? And I have a viable business and a viable way to increase employment in the area, tax base, all those kind of goody things. I need money.
Right. Well, I'm not saying we wouldn't make you a loan. It depends on what the loan would be for. If you were putting a mortgage building up.
Well, it would be for continued expansion of what I'm currently doing because that's where my market is. And it is a diversified market.
Right. Each case is reviewed and it stands on its own basis. I mean, it depends on what you're using it for, what our loan terms are,
Pam here has a...
Is there a portion of your farm you would consider putting in an easement or a protection program?
It could be. I mean, where we're at in our county, no zoning. So
that's something you could consider if you want to sell your development rights, and that can help with your current cash flow. That's a big commitment, but it's a possibility for you to look at. Or maybe there's a portion of your farm that's not as productive as you'd like if you have a wetland, or if you have some area that you'd like to set aside.
No, not those. All right, I just thought that some of the other people might be in the same position as I am, that they actually have a chance to keep growing, but need money to do it. Thank you.
Thanks for the chat. I mean, I guess I think what we can say is maybe making an appointment. I know I'm sure you've probably been through things, so I'm just generalizing here, but
I have a whole folder of denials.
Yeah. And I don't know, also, we don't have anyone here from Farm Services. I hear when you have a lot of denial letters from other lenders, sometimes Farm Services. Okay. But, yeah, so I just want to thank everyone very much for coming and sticking it out for 2 hours here talking about funding. So